I started recording live on Facebook. Face the book.
I face it a book.
Are you facing the book?
Yeah,
Or are you
I
having
flicking a light switch, ice a box.
There we are. Hi, everybody. Hi. Another Transgender shows. This time, only Bonnie and I. So I'm afraid that some people are sick. Some people are traveling, or they have some people around here. So it's kind of complicated from time to time to have everybody on board. Anyway.
Morgan has what? Stones? What do they call them again?
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
What
Anyway,
do they call
everybody, welcome to Transgurus. And first of all, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
New 2022. Jesus Christ. 2021, it's already over? It didn't even start, right? It went so fast, so fast, so fast. Bonnie, what do you want to say?
What do I want to say? Have a happy new year. Start the year, the new, I don't believe in all these resolutions that people make. And it, your life should consist of always trying to be better than you were yesterday. That doesn't mean better than anybody else, it just means better than you. Take my life. Sometimes I'm more productive, sometimes I'm less productive. But the key is I try to have balance. And if I can have balance, then I'm winning. I mean, what I'm trying to say there is no, it's just like all these boxes that we keep, I was talking to some other trans people the other day, and all these boxes that people keep putting them in. Well, you need to have surgery. You need to have this. You need to do this. And if you're really trans, you're supposed to, listen, you got to get up in the morning. You got to be happy. Look at yourself in the mirror and have a great day. Tell yourself in the mirror, today is going to be a great day. Me, don't misunderstand me. I have a small little goal sheet. Actually, I should have pulled one out. I have it taped in the living room where I sit so I can see it in the mirror. I have it in my bathroom when I brush my teeth. I have it there by the toilet. When I sit down, I see it. When I go to bed at night, it's sitting there. Every place in the house I go, my little goal sheet is there. So I read it maybe 10 times a day just because it's there. The point is, there is no right, there is no wrong. It's just finding a pattern that goes along with how you feel. And if you feel good and you can feel good and you can enjoy yourself, you won. Years ago, it used to be the one who dies with the most toys wins. The one that dies with the most toys has the most ulcers. The one that dies with the most toys has probably got the most heart attacks. And the one that's got the most toys is the most unhappiest because all these toys are controlling them. My point is, less sometimes is more, and more is a frame of mind. It's perspective. It's how we look at things. And if you can put all your whatever in something that makes sense, that stays positive, that you can stay positive, well, then that's doesn't have to be a New Year resolution. That can just be a today's resolution and tomorrow's. I mean, what I'm trying to say, and if tomorrow you decide to change, you can change it. It's okay. There is no rights, there is no wrongs. Just like all these damn boxes that all these people keep throwing at us, they don't need to be there. So that's my
Absolutely. Important is that you're happy, and happiness is, if you're inside happy, you find your nice balance around you. We've got someone which just told me, Rhonda, I'm scared to start HRT. Okay. Whatever you do in life, never be scared. And starting HRT is one of those things you should not be scared. Just make sure of one thing, Rhonda, and I'm really I think it's very important to tell that, is that whatever you do with HRT, it's drugs. So whatever it's drugs, you have to have some kind of guidance from a professional which helps you. Before you start HRT, make sure, first of all, that you are, that you get all the WPATH letters. So meaning that you are really sure that you are a transgender person, okay? Don't start HRT without being sure that of your feelings. Second thing that you do is to go to an endocrinologist or a doctor, and you will take your blood test, and then you will start prescribing you the drugs. And he's going to do it in the first, for the first month. He's probably going to do it for every 2 months or every 3 months. He's going to take blood tests again to see what your levels are until you've got the ideal levels. So make sure that you've got a good professional. I don't know where you live, but one thing is very important. Here in the United States, we've got quite a lot of good professionals for transgender HRT. I've seen now that these are online, there's quite a lot of people which, propose HRT. So they do it in the same way. There are doctors behind, except they, instead of you going there, they actually, take you over the phone or over the video call. So this is possible these days. And of course, you have to find a place where you're going to make your blood tests, because you need to have the regular blood tests. But there's many differences. Don't be afraid of it. Just make sure that you're followed by a professional person who knows what they are doing. It is not easy. It's not everybody. And you know what? It can change. You can start with one type of HRT and then go to another one. When I started, I was taking, pills. So estriol with pills. And then, of course, I was taking, some blockers, some testosterone blockers, which I didn't like very much. And then as things went through and I got post-op and so on, I didn't have to take the testosterone blockers anymore. And I passed from the pills to the patches. And probably now I'm going to change it, because, you always have to have, progesterone is very important, estriol is very important, and testosterone is very important if you're a male to female. If you're a female to male, of course, it's different too. But testosterone is extremely important. But for me, my testosterone level went so down that even a cis woman would not have as low as I am. That's the thing. So you always go and they look at your blood and they try to optimize it until they've got really the perfect way of what is right for you. There are many factors. Body has got I'm sure Bonnie's got quite a lot of things that she can tell about that, because she's a really high believer in progesterone. I take progesterone too. Sometimes I stop progesterone and then I take again because I've got some issues, but it's very much a person oriented. Not everybody's the same. So, okay. Do you have anything to add, Bonnie?
Of course.
Yes.
Okay, let's start off with this. You're scared. Now, that's a very, very broad statement. Are you scared because you're afraid of the changes? Are you scared because you are afraid of change? Big difference. Now, everybody fears change. Let's say you're going to go from one job to another job. There's fear associated because there's change. Now, when you're talking about doing the hormones and the change, that's a whole different thing because, first of all, I'm going to explain something to you. If you're a female to male and you go on testosterone, your voice will deepen, hair will grow on your face, muscles will start to develop. And after about a year, people will start to notice that there's something different. Now, if you're male to female, you can be on hormones for a year and people are not going to go, what, what? I mean, what I'm trying to say, it's not as drastic for male to female as it is from female to male. Now, so I didn't see who wrote this in, so I'm not trying. Anyway, my point is that, first of all, we need to feel comfortable with where we want to go. What's meant by that? Okay, I'm going to transition, but I want to explain something to you. I know at least a half a dozen people that have been on hormones for years before they transitioned. They went and had their electrolysis done, get laser done first, then electrolysis, grow their hair out. There's so many different factors. My case, don't misunderstand me, I went from one to the other one day. Boom. Did I deal with a lot of issues? Yes. Did I end up in a lot of, this is all the way back 79, 80. It was a rough time. And when I transitioned, and I'm not trying to, about me, what I'm just trying to say is some people, boom, they come out of the gate and they just do it. But what I'm saying to you is you don't have to just come out of the gate, boom. So if your fears are everybody's going to know, they're not going to know. It doesn't work that way. It takes time. And if you get electrolysis and laser, your face will get smoother. And if you're a trans man, you're going to start to develop some hair growth on your face. You can shave it, nobody will ever know it's there. Or you can let it grow out and people can see it. My point is that your transition does not have to be inside of a box. Your transition can be over a period of a couple years, can be over one day to the next like I did, or it can be somewhere in the middle. And the key is find the notch. Have somebody to go talk to. There's so many support groups now that are online that before people didn't have access. It's too far to drive and it was too far. Now you can go online and there's hundreds of them. And you can listen to people that are in the same spot you are, and they'll sit there and tell you, oh, I have all these fears. Oh, I got to go through, oh, work. Oh, and you can relate to all these things that people are telling you, that you're not alone. You're not the only person going through this. And if you have that support through some kind of group, as well as a therapist, as well as a doctor, throw a couple things at you. You can do bioidentical progesterone suppositories and not need to go on blockers. They'll do the same thing, and you don't have to put your body through all the, okay, so you got to stick something in your butt. Anyway, you don't have to go through all, like Ella was saying, with the blockers, all the problems she had and all that. I never did blockers, but I don't think they really had blockers back then or knew enough about it or even theoretically had a word for transgender. It was either a he, she, or whatever. I'm not trying. My point is, the fear, you need to, first of all, write down on a piece of paper all the pros, all the cons. What are your fears? And a lot of times your fears are nothing more than hypothetical in your mind. They're not real. At a certain point when you do transition and you come out into the world, well, then there are issues that go along with that. But if you've talked to people and you're involved in some groups and you know you're not the only one that's going through it, and you don't have to just jump into it and take the world on in one day. When I transitioned, there was nobody to help. I went to shrinks. And the only reason I went to the shrinks is because I needed it for my hormones and all the other stuff and blah, 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 all that stuff. But bottom line is, every time I went to a shrink, nobody cared to know what was going on in my head to help me. They wanted to know, well, how does a transgender person feel? Or how does a he, she feel? Or how does whatever. They didn't care about helping me. They just wanted to get an education out of picking my brain. What I'm saying today, you go to the right therapist, they don't have to pick your brain. They understand transgender. They understand all the spectrum of transgender. And you know what? I was talking to a transgender friend the other day, and she says, well, I don't know if I'm going to have surgery. I don't even know if I want to be with a woman or a man. Okay. How are you going to know? By putting your time in, by going through the process, by going through the full transition, by maybe going out with a guy, by maybe going out with a girl, by maybe being treated a certain way. It's a journey. Don't ever turn your pen over to somebody else to write it for you. It's your journey. You write it. Don't ever give it up to anybody. Listen, times might be difficult. You got to understand something. I'll tell you something real quick. You're married, you're in a relationship. You want to transition. You have no right to expect your mate, your family to accept you and say, oh, okay, yes, this is great. You have no right to do that. You have a right to be you, but you have no right to expect others to feel that way. If you understand that going into it, and if you understand all the things that you don't have to do it today, you can take your time, and there's programs that you can go to, and there's people you can talk to, and there's Zooms, and there's all these different things. A lot of the fears just dematerialize. They're not really there. They're more something in our head, because we all feel fear change. I'm moving to another city. Yes, you're going to fear change. What I'm trying to say is, whether it's transitioning or whether it's a job or it's moving, we all fear change. So don't feel bad that you feel fear about it, because if you didn't, then I probably would question, where's your head at? Because we all fear things. The point I'm just trying to make is, every transition is different. Learn what you can. Don't be in a hurry. All the pieces will fall into place in time. And the key of what I just said is time. People that might not accept you today will accept you 2 years from now, might accept you 5 years from now. What I'm saying is, time has a way of manifesting so many different things, from our transition to our work, to our family, to our friends, to people. Goes on and on and on. And there is actually no limits, as to, the only limits are the ones we put on ourselves. And with that being said, research it, figure it out, and I don't know, flow with it, right? Write your own journey. Enjoy your own journey.
Bonnie, you touched a point which is actually quite important. It's about acceptance from others. You said that the other people don't feel obliged or don't have to be obliged to accept you. It is correct. You want to be accepted by them. That is something which is correct too, usually, because you want to have. But don't forget, when you change, when you become in a transition, when you become a woman or a man or whatever you are, or a day, people have to get, you know, to get into it. It's not that, you have surely head up because you've been going through this for a long time. And that's why you transition. But very often, your friends, the people which are with you, they don't know anything about it. For them, it's brand new. So I think it's always very interesting to try to support the people that are around you when you tell them that you are transitioning. We've been going to many, many support groups throughout the years, believe me. And it's always so very interesting to see the parents of a transition person, which are totally lost because they have no idea. They go and say, my son just transitioned to a man, and I don't know what it means. What does that mean? Why? So they need their time as well to understand. And this is something that we should be very clear about, that, because don't think that because you've been transitioning for a long time that the other people know what you've gone through. They don't.
We have a couple people one from Australia
Yeah.
that T
Can I
is
finish?
saying, go ahead, I'm sorry. I thought you finished.
Because they don't understand what you've gone through, and you have to probably go and explain them, try to give them to transgender support groups, and there are many, many, many places that they have family support groups for transgender, for people which are transgender. So for the parents, for the for the sisters, brothers, and friends even. And they can help them too to understand. And we're not the only ones. You're not the only one which is going to transition. Go ahead, Bonnie. What you wanted to say?
I wanted to say from Australia, T was saying that she's been on hormones. I believe, I may have this wrong, it might be he. I can't see whether it's male to female or female to male. Anyway, been on hormones for 6 months and have had no levels checked. Yes, you need to get your levels checked because you can also deal with blood clots. You can deal with a lot of other issues. And we have one other person on here that Colleen, that started on hormones at 14 years old, and she is now 60 years old and living her true life. I mean, to be able to start at 14 and not have to go through all the male puberty, the gods were on your side. Anyway, my point is, yes, you need to get your hormones checked. You need to make sure you don't end up with blood clots. I've known a few trans girls that got black market hormones and ended up with blood clots, and now they can't transition because they have a problem with hormones and blood clots. And if they would have done it with a doctor, they would have been okay because they would have been able to monitor the amounts and what they were doing. And there's a lot involved. So it's not something that we can just, oh, I want to go to the store and buy myself something new. No, when you're transitioning on hormones, you need to do it properly. You need to do it with doctor supervision, and hopefully you have groups that you can talk to people, that you can discuss the things that you're going through, that you can, there's so many different things. And hormones can definitely affect your emotions. I know some trans guys that the testosterone makes them a real bear. I mean, it brings out that aggressiveness in them that sometimes that needs to be calmed down because they can get themselves in trouble. And the same thing with male to females, that not the aggressive part, but that you need to monitor what's going on, and they cry a lot and they go through a lot of emotional things, and that's all part of the journey, and you can enjoy every single part of it. I know some trans men, they got like their first hair, look, and they're taking pictures and they want everybody to see that I got a hair. What I'm trying to say is every part of the journey can be exciting if you so choose to see it, or it can be a nightmare if you don't go about. It's just like, I'm going to go buy a car. Okay, pick up the paper. Okay, I'm going to buy this car. Sight unseen. Here's the money. Come deliver the car, and you get it. It's a piece of crap, and the wheels are falling off, and there's no motor in it, and there's this and that. Well, you didn't do your work, so you deserve to get what you get. It's the same thing with hormones and transitioning. You need to research it. You need to do it properly, and you need to do it logically, just like if you were going to go to work, you get up in the morning, take a shower, put your makeup on or your clothes or whatever you do, you go to work, you have your coffee, you eat your breakfast, blah, 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 and you have a routine. Well, transitioning is a routine, just like anything you do. And it's important that you follow a routine. Go ahead, Ellen.
Yeah, T. So T is male to female, and she just wrote that, thank you, my dosage gets increased every 3 months without a test. I'm 40, so I will ask to get it done. Thank you again. I think that is very important, you can research in the internet about what is the ideal dosage or the ideal levels of hormones, and see, and the doctor should actually, if you have too much testosterone, or if you have too little testosterone or whatever, you should do accordingly.
And I'm going to tell you something else. And I know Ella's going to say her thing, but she's never done it. The shots will make the biggest difference in a person than any creams, patches, anything you can do. The shots once a week, not once every 2 weeks. When you go get the shots every 2 weeks, what happens is you get a high and then you get a low. So at the end of 2 weeks, you're at a low. If you do it every week, your hormones remain more consistent throughout the week. Now I'm doing a cream, which I'm extremely happy with. I mean, I've been on it for years, so I mean, it's not as big a deal for me because I'm not just start transitioning. But if you're in the transition stage and you're just starting, and at that point, we all get ants in our pants because we want everything today, not tomorrow, we're in a hurry. Anyway, my point is that the shots you can be on pills for 3 years and you can be on shots for 1 year, and you'll see more difference in the 1 year on shots than the person that's on the pills for 3 years. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, the pills are good, okay, but most doctors here in the United States don't like to give the pills because of the stomach issues. Usually what you do with those pills is they are micronized. So you put them underneath the tongue that it actually goes directly into your bloodstream. But most doctors don't like very much to give it because it is it's
hard on your liver and kidneys.
Yeah, it's
and all
not
that
so
stuff.
good, it's internal. So the patches.
But that's okay if the only way you can do it. I mean, we're not saying don't do that. We're just pointing out, you're asking a question.
I mean, I had 10 years of pills and I never had an issue. Never had an issue whatsoever. And then I went to the patches and I feel very nicely with the patches. The good thing about the patches is that I do it twice a week and it's quite uniform. You've got really quite a uniformity. I never did the injections. Many people, as Bonnie said, the injections are great. Other people are a little bit more, not so. But everybody can find their own balance and what is right for them. So HRT is science by itself. Unfortunately, there's not so many doctors which understand what is going on. But research online, and there are very, very good people about, that can give you quite good advice. How to do it, what the dosages are, and so on. Anyway,
I know a lot of people have fears about giving themselves a shot. And let me tell you, everything is about perspective. And if you want changes in your body and you want them quicker than 3 years and do it in 1 year, well, then just bend over and stick it. And, I mean, what I'm just trying to say, it's not as big a deal. Some people do it in their thighs, and that's fine too, as long as it goes into muscle. But a lot of times, like when I did my shots, I would just have a mirror behind me, a big mirror, in the bathroom, and I put my glasses on because I don't see as good as I used to, and I would position where the needle is and see exactly, and then I would push it in, and then I would squirt it, and then I would pull it out, and it was done just that quick, and it wasn't, oh, I got to stick myself with a needle. Oh, I can't do this. It's once you've done it a couple times, it's like going to the bathroom. It's no big deal. And it, but if that isn't what you want, and I can't say because I'm on cream now. My cream has progesterone, has a little testosterone, and it has estradiol or estrogen, whatever in it. And it's worked very, very well for me. I've been extremely happy. I couldn't get the shots anymore, so I had to stop, and I went on the patches, and I gained a bunch of weight, and my life was a roller coaster because I couldn't get my hormones right. And now that I'm on the cream, my hormones are perfect. And with that being said, just because you're not taking shots doesn't mean that there isn't other alternatives. The cream, I think, works incredible. But if you're a newbie, I don't know that you're going to see the results with the cream that you're going to see with the shots. But if you don't, the cream is definitely better than taking pills, because it doesn't have to go through your kidney and liver and in your digestive system. And if you can stay off of the blockers and do the bioidentical progesterone suppositories, life. And let me tell you something, people don't understand. When you do hormones, if you don't have enough progesterone, you grow what's known as like cone titties. So your titties grow like in a cone shape, almost like a birthday hat. They're at the base and then they go straight up. Well, when you go on progesterone, your breasts fill out. They get round and they get bigger, and they fill in. They don't look weird. They look like what boobies are supposed to look like. I would take mine out and show everybody, but it probably would be very kosher. So I won't do that. But my point is, whatever works for you is the only thing that really matters. And it's got a lot to do with perspective. It's got a lot to do with your mental. It's got a lot to do with you writing down everything so where you can see where you're headed, what you're dealing with. And if you do all those things, your transition can be a lot different than if you don't.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, everybody has got different reactions, though. Don't forget that. So we've got T's telling that she's on tablets, 6 milligrams estrogen, and 100 milligrams from progesterone and spironolactone. That sounds to me very good. But I mean, I am not the doctor, and what I'd like you to do is to just to check your values, which is important, and see what the doctor. And then we've got Walter. I think Walter kommt von Deutschland, oder? Ich spreche auch Deutsch, können wir auch Deutsch sprechen hier? Ich bin eigentlich Schweizerin. Okay, and then I've got here Laurie Ann, and Laurie Ann been on hormone therapy for about 5 months, close to an ACAP already. The emotional roller coaster during these first 3 months was nothing less than hell. No regrets though. Following through no matter the cost. Tried of living a lie. Came out on December 10, 2020, and my life is so much better now, and I'm having as who I am truly. I'm living as I am truly, a woman. I don't have to hide anymore, and it feels wonderful. My family rejected me though. That just shows me that they are not family. No regrets. Lorian, probably give them some time. Probably they'll come around,
I'm going to say
Ron,
something real quick about
and
that.
then just a second, Laurie and Rhonda Lemos, don't be scared to be who you are. You got through the others hardest. You came out, and you should be proud of that. I hope you can overcome your fears, and that is absolutely true. Thank you for those words. I hope you've got an extended family now, and join your local extended family, because we are everywhere. We are really everywhere, and we are some of the people being transgender. They're really great. Some of them are not so great, but everybody. It's like everybody else. But we are a great, very, very large family. Bonnie, you wanted to say something.
Sometimes I've seen this 30, 40 times. There's a couple, one transitions, they get divorced. Their life sucks. It's so bad. Everything is no good. Oh, poor me, on and on and on. Let me tell you something. Every single one of those cases that got divorced, those people were able to grow in a different level because they didn't have anybody holding them back. And because they were free and able to be themselves, they were able to grow. And after a year of them growing, they looked back and said, wow, my husband or my wife did me a favor by divorcing me. Whereas a year prior, their world was over because they weren't accepted. Once again, I'm going to say this. Just because you choose to transition, that doesn't mean that everybody else has to. And if your family doesn't accept you, listen, my family didn't accept me. Most of them still don't even. It's all these years, and they still have nothing to do with me. But what I'm trying to say is, it went probably after I had my SRS surgery 10 years. My father called up, and they wanted to put him in a home, and he didn't want to go in a home. And he called me up and said, I need you to come back. Wow. Is that mind blowing? Is that just like, yeah, I went back. I gave up my business. I gave up this. I gave up. My brother thought I was fucking nuts. What I'm trying to say is, but when I used to go with my dad and they say, oh, this is your daughter. And he just would twitch and I would just be so happy. Anyway, my point is, it's all about perspective. And just because your family turns on you, sometimes it's because they don't understand. Sometimes it takes time. And I'm going to tell you, with family, I've seen this over and over and over 1,000 times. That as time goes on, a lot of times family comes around. And you know what? And if family never comes around, you're better off without them. It's like, if you go over to the wall and you bang your head against it real hard, it hurts. Well, it's the same thing, putting yourself in a situation where somebody's going to make you feel really, really bad. What's the difference than going over to a wall and banging your head and getting a headache, or being around them and feeling like shit and going away with a headache? So it's all about perspective. So if they don't want to be around you, you're free to go explore, to be who you are. I brought it up earlier. I had a friend. Is she going to be with a woman? Is she going to be with a man? Is she going to go get her SRS surgery and be with a woman? Is she going to get her SRS surgery and be with a man? Is she going to keep what she has? I mean, what I'm trying to say is, she doesn't know, but how is she going to find out? By putting in her time, and it'll all fall into place. And there is no time limit. There's no stopwatch. Well, you've got 362 days and 12 minutes to transition. And then it's all over and you have everything. It's not like that. You just need to go out there and if people don't want anything to do with you, well then, I'm going to tell you, this is a story. Many years ago, I had a best friend. We hung out together. When I transitioned, I was 24, but through high school, And afterwards, this is my best friend. And when I transitioned, he flat out told me that he didn't want to be around my kind. He didn't want to be around somebody like me. He didn't want to associate with anybody like me. And I had my ex-brother-in-law with me, and he wanted to beat him up. And I said, why? I said, I'm thankful that he was able to be truthful with me and let me know how he really felt instead of jerking me around or making me feel like crap or putting me down or humiliating me. And I also understood that his fear was, because he was a redneck, is everybody going to think he's gay? He was my friend and I'm transitioning. He must be gay. So he had to run for me 100 miles an hour because it wasn't about me. It was about what people were going to think about him. So like I said to you, when you think things out, it's not always black and white. And sometimes things are a little bit different. So don't always take it as rejection. Sometimes take it as a gift for freedom.
Yeah, people have to around you will grow up with you. Anyway, everybody, do you have any other things that you want to talk about, Bonnie?
If somebody knows the winning lottery numbers, that would be nice. Okay, all right. I tried. I'm sorry. And my voice, I'm sorry today. I came down with a cold and I did go get a COVID test, but I don't think it's COVID. I think it's just a good old fashioned cold. You know, those are still out there. They act like colds no longer exist or the flu no longer exists. There's only the COVID, and that's all there is COVID. Nothing else exists. You can't even have an appendix problem because it's got to be COVID. What I'm trying to say is, you know, listen.
You
so
funny, Bonnie. You funny.
well, my point is that life is how you process it, and you don't have to process everything that you're going to die. I got COVID, I'm going to die. No, I don't know. I think I have a cold. I haven't got the report back on my test, but I believe I have a cold. And if it isn't a cold, I'm not going to die either way because it isn't that bad. Other than my voice is, and I've been working on my voice really hard, but I haven't been able to work on it at all because it sounds really bad because my throat got whatever. But today it's doing better. But other than
Anyway,
that,
with COVID fears around here, I think that let's hope that things get settled down very fast and that you can go back to our beautiful lives like it was before. And you know, until then, everybody, stay safe, be safe, fight for your rights, fight for what you feel like, because never forget, if you're not happy with yourself, don't expect people to be happy with you.
I don't believe in that part about fighting. I'm sorry. I believe you should be yourself, and if people don't accept you, you should accept them and move on. I don't believe that you should sit there and, well, what I'm saying, I don't believe that you should sit there and argue with somebody, well, I'm trans, you should accept me, you should. No, if people are shut you off, move on. Don't sit there and waste your breath trying to explain to them how your mind works, how you think, how you feel. They don't really care. You know, nowadays, a good thing about today is, oh, I'm transgender. And they go, well, do you have COVID? They don't even care that you're trans anymore. It's all, you don't have COVID, do you? Anyway, my point is.
Hey, come on. What I mean is fight for our rights, that make sure that that you call our rights are, you know, people not accept us, but people give us our rights that we can live the way we want, you know. Anyway, that is the most important thing, I think, is that you are happy with yourself. With those words, see you next week. Bye, everybody.
I'd say Merry Christmas, but it just passed. So I'll say Happy 4th of July.
Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, it's out. That was quite good.
How long was it?
Um, about 45 minutes.
You're kidding me.
No, I'm not kidding you.
I didn't even think it was 20 minutes that we were on there.
No, no, we were much longer.
44 minutes. My God. How time fucking flies when you're having fun. I swear, I'm not a betting person, but I would have bet it wasn't over 20 minutes.
Mhm.
There's no way I could have. That's the fastest 44 minutes I've ever been through in my life. Jesus Christ.
Girl, I'm hungry. I'm going to eat something. Cook something and eat something. I just don't know what to do.
This was my dinner.
Okay. Probably should do the same here, but